Before you sign that offer letter, watch this video. Do not say I did not tell you. Before you sign that offer letter, watch this video. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Joy Sapong, and today we're going to be talking about one most important thing that you need to ask and consider when signing an offer letter or when you agree that you're going to go with a certain employer. Trust me, you have no idea how important this thing is. Nobody talks about it. Nobody really express or tell us so much into this important thing. They just think, oh, I'm going to find a hospital, I'm going to find a state. But I would say, in as much as the state is important, what I am going to talk about is more important as well, because it is going to affect your hard-earned American dollars. Okay? Okay? So stay tuned, and then I'm going to tell you what that is. And I'm sure by the end of this video, some people are going to call their employers and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go with that offer anymore. I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to go with another hospital, because it is very important. It is that important. Okay? The healthcare system in Ghana is mostly controlled by the government, or mostly managed by the government. The healthcare system in UK, it is also by the government, which is the NHS. But the healthcare system in the United States is not entirely managed by the government. Yes, the government has some sort of control over it as to protecting the employers and the employees, but the way things are mostly managed by the hospital that you are working with, or the company that you are working with itself. Okay? So when you come to the United States, because healthcare providers are private owned, it means that you will be paying everything, every hospital bill yourself. You will be paying all those things that you go to the hospital, you go to see your primary doctor, which is also called your GP in the UK. You will be paying it yourself. So that is where health insurance comes in. Health insurance. Oh, maybe you are thinking, oh, I come to America and then I call in a health insurance company and then say, hey, you know, I just moved to America and then I want a health insurance. No, they don't do that. So what they're going to do is, when you call them, they're going to tell you that they only give health insurance through employer. So you have to get your health insurance through your employer, and then your employer pays part of your health insurance for you. Now, how much health insurance that you pay, we'll probably go into details later. But let me just put this out here, that if you go with the health insurance through your employer, which is what most likely you will be offered and most likely you will take, if you are a single person, you might be paying, depending on the type of plan you choose, you might be paying around $57 to about $80 for one person. But if you have a family, the number of people in your family would affect how much you pay. So if it's just you and your husband, there's an amount you pay. If it's just you, your partner, and your children, there's also an amount you pay. And that, with a family plan, you can end up paying about $200 to $300 every paycheck. And obviously you are paid every 2 weeks. So that means you are paying $600 every month for health insurance. That is what they are taking from you. And mind you, your hospital is also adding to it. So let me put that out there. That is for the plans. That is for whether you are a single person or whether you are coming as a family. To understand the American health insurance system, there are things that you need to understand, okay? So you have to understand your premium. You have to understand your deductible. You have to understand what copay is. You have to understand what co-insurance is. And you have to also understand what out of pocket maximum is. I know it sounds a lot, but trust me, these terms are what determine the amount of money that you are going to pay at the end of every doctor's visit or hospital visit. Okay, so when we talk about deductible, it is what you pay before insurance steps in. There is something that we call copay. So copay is the first payments that you make at the hospital that before they see you. So they are not even going to mention copay when you come to the hospital. Obviously, they're going to see you first because of EMTALA. And EMTALA is like a emergency protection for you, so that they make sure nobody's talking about money. They are attending to your emergency before we talk about money. And another thing is co-insurance. This is the most annoying part of it all. Co-insurance is after you have, so now you have paid copay, you have paid a deductible, and the co-insurance is it's a percentage you pay after meeting the deductible. So after you meet the deductible, you have to pay like a percentage of the amount that is left. And whatever is left is what the insurance is going to take. It is so annoying. But basically, that summarizes how the health insurance system works when it comes to payments. And so it's not like, yes, there's a health insurance plan, you are not going to pay anything at all when you go see a doctor or when you go to the emergency room. You are definitely going to pay something, but it's not going to be the amount in totality. You are going to pay an amount, and then the insurance will take the rest. And there is out-of-pocket maximum. So depending again on the plan that you choose, the out-of-pocket maximum, let's say they give you about 1,700 as out-of-pocket for the whole year maximum. So anytime you go to the hospital or you go see a doctor, they say, oh, you have to pay a copay of this amount. So sometimes they take $25, $175, depending on why you went and where you went. So in a whole year with you and your family, depending on the plan that you are on, you have to pay up until the 1,700. You have to pay, exhaust that amount before the insurance will take 100%. Who goes to the hospital all the time every year? Who does that? So obviously, it's not everybody that gets to the out-of-pocket maximum. Do you get it? So, but if you are able to some way, somehow get to the maximum and exhaust it, whatever bill that comes after that, the insurance is going to take 100% of that, which is good. Now, let's talk about when you come to America and you need a health insurance, because one of the important things that you have to do when you come here is to get the insurance set up ASAP, because you never know what could happen when you step out of your apartment or your house. So you have to get an insurance, a health insurance. Now, when you come in and you call an insurance company, you Google, you call an insurance company and you say, hey, I want to get an insurance, a health insurance plan for me and my family. They will say no, they don't do it like that, because you have to get it through your employer. And I think as time went on, I have come to understand why they do that, because the premiums they charge you, it's so expensive that you will not be able to probably pay everything. And or you say, why am I paying this much? So if you get it through your employer is going to pay part and you also pay part. So depending on the type of insurance or the type of plan, so the type of insurance and the type of plan is very important. Now, if you're going to get the insurance with your employer has a type of insurance that they do give. And based on that type of insurance that they give, under that insurance, they do have plans that you have to choose. So if you are a single person and then you are going for, let's say, a single person plan, you can probably be paying around $50 to $100, depending on the plan that you choose. But if you are a family, you, your husband, your children, or you, your wife, or whatever the number is, you are obviously probably going to go the family route, and that you can also be paying around between $200 to $350 every paycheck, which is every 2 weeks. So in a month, you can be paying around 600 to 800 for health insurance. You can be paying around 600 to $800 for health insurance every month. Yes, you heard me right, every month. And that's not just it. That is the amount you are paying and your employer is adding up to it. So now we've talked about the health insurance part. We have a brighter and a good perspective about what it is, how things go about that, right? So now I'm going to talk about the tiers. So every health insurance per your employer, they have categorized it into tiers. So there's a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 means that your insurance is saying, hey, if you go to this hospital, this facility, this primary doctor, I will let you pay only $25 or about just a small amount because they are in my area. I know them. We use almost the same thing. We talk to each other. So it's not going to cost us much. So if you go to the tier 1 hospitals or tier 1 providers, which is what I've just said. Tier 2, it means that if you are going outside tier 1, so it can be outside your county. So it means that these are about a higher level hospitals, stuff that your hospital, they don't provide, and then you go there. That one, mind you, it is outside the tier 1. So the premiums, the co-pays, and everything that you have to pay is going to be more. And the worst of it all is like a tier 3. Let's say you go visit somebody in another state and something happens. And then you have to call the ambulance, you have to go to the hospital there, and your insurance have to pay. They can tell you that, oh, they can only pay 20%, 10%, because it's tier 3, you are way outside of the scope, so they can't pay much, and the rest becomes your responsibility. So this is what you have to look out for.
Outside your scope, outside your area, network. You're outside the insurance network.
Okay.
What are two different words for network on YouTube?
80.
If it's outside the network of the insurance, blah, blah, blah.
It's means I explain it here. Okay.
Say, I mean, what's our question? Say, insurance via what the physicians. Physicians are subscribed to.
Yes.
That's the main reason why it's outside network.
Okay. So now let's talk about tiers. So within the health insurance, they have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Now, what does this tier mean? The tier 1, it means that there is a sort of insurance network which has some providers are in there. So we have some dentists, we have some pediatricians, we have some emergency rooms, some urgent cares who are within this network, which is the tier 1 network. So when you visit any of these providers who are within this tier 1 network, it means that the insurance is saying, oh, I work with these people, so we have an agreement, and if you work with them, I'm not going to charge you more to pay out of pocket. You're going to pay only a little, and I'll take the rest. So, for example, there is an urgent care in my network that for example, there is an urgent care in a network that my health insurance provide. And that urgent care, they will tell you, if you go there, it is absolutely free. Do you know why they are doing that? It is just to decongest and prevent people from going to the emergency room. Not to say that if you have an emergency, you can't go to the emergency room. Yes, you can go. But mind you, if you go to the emergency room, you're going to pay a copay, you're going to pay a deductible. But if you go to the urgent care as they have provided, it's going to be free. So they give you those options so that people don't just wake up and go to the emergency room, just not for anything, and then the hospitals will come and charge them huge amounts. So if you go to the hospital, the urgent care for, let's say, things like flu a simple cut and all those things, it will be free, just to encourage people to go there. So that is what being the tier 1 means. Okay, so now tier 2. So tier 2 basically means the other hospitals in the same state but outside the network. So let's say another group of hospital or providers that don't work with this insurance, but yes, they will take. So it means that the amount of money you are going to pay is obviously going to be more than how much that you would have paid if you went to a tier 1 provider. And lastly, the tier 3 is when you have to go out of state. So out of state, let's say you visit a family friend or somebody in another state and something happens and you have to go to the hospital. Obviously, you can't force yourself to come to your state to visit the hospital. You have to see the doctors there. It's an emergency. And once you do that, the insurance is going to say, oh, it's a tier 3, so I'm going to only cover this amount, and they cover like a little percentage and they leave the rest for you. There are exceptions to that where some of the doctors or the providers can word and document things in a way which would make the insurance absorb that cost. But if some of the provider or the physician who saw you in that state does not have the knowledge or the words to use right, my dear, you are going to absorb majority of the costs. So that is it. So now, to the beautiful part. You've done your interview, you've gotten an offer letter, yay, good news. Let me tell you, you have a lot of important questions to go back and ask them before you sign that offer letter. Because these are some of the things that nobody tells you. The two main things you have to look out for is what type of hospital are you working with? Is it a community hospital? Is it a medical center where they do big surgeries, major surgeries? What level is that hospital? Is it a level 1, a level 2? Is it a level 3 or a level 4? You have to look at all these things. And I'll tell you why you have to do that. Another big thing that you have to also ask is, what type of insurance do you work with? What type of insurance provider do you work with? Because the network that they work with, they have a competitive insurance providers. So everybody wants to sell their product very well. So you have to ask them what insurance they work with as well. You can do a little research to see if it's a good insurance provider, because obviously sometimes there are some bad. And I believe you've heard some of the insurance companies, what they do. I know you've heard. So you have to ask around, do your research. So now let's go back to why it is important to identify whether the hospital is a level 1, level 2, 3, or 4, whether it's a community hospital, whether it's a medical center, what it is, what kind of things that they provide. If it is a community hospital, they do not have any sister hospital, which is a higher level, and they give you a health insurance. Mind you, the network, the health insurance they give you, they will give you a health insurance that is a tier 1. So within that health insurance, tier 1 health insurance they've given you, they have put all their sister hospitals, all their agent cares, all the providers that they work with. So let's assume that you work in a community hospital, or you sign a contract with a community hospital. You are so happy you are coming to America. That's what is important. You didn't look into all those things. And then a community hospital is not even on the levels. It's not even a level 1, 2, or 3. They do not have any sister hospital that is a level 3 or 4, which is the highest level, the trauma centers where they do these big surgeries, they have the highest level of NICU and all that. They don't have any sister hospital to do all those things. They don't have higher level or specialties, the higher level specialties that you have to visit. When you have, or in case something happens to you and you need like a big surgery, you need a huge procedure that is not covered in that hospital or within that network, you automatically have to go to another tier, which means you are going to pay. So you have to make sure that the hospital you are signing the contract for has a sister hospital that is a level 3 or a level 4, at least a trauma center, that they are all within, they fall within the tier 1. So that if something happens to you, you need, let's say you need a cardiac and open heart surgery, and you are in a community hospital which don't offer that, and they have to transfer you. Whatever the hospital they transfer you to should be within your tier 1 so that you can pay very minimal amounts. If you don't look into it, you are excited, you've gotten a hospital, you signed the offer, and then you find a community hospital in a very remote area who doesn't have a sister hospital, who doesn't have any higher level hospital as a sister that you can be transferred to, who will be in a tier 1, and something happens to you, your family member needs a major surgery, and it automatically means that they are going to end up going to a tier 2 or a tier 3, and my dear, your insurance will tell you no. Sometimes they make exceptions though to say, oh, they don't offer that in a community hospital, so obviously they are going to jump in and pay. But still, they will not pay it like they are paying if you had attended a tier 1 hospital. So that is my advice for everyone. So if you have already signed a contract or an offer letter, go back, look and see what type of hospital you signed. Is it a community hospital? Level of care, or is that hospital, is it a level 1, 2, 3, or 4? Before you make that move, so that we don't waste your time and end up paying all your hard-earned money to the insurance man. To be honest with you, if you are coming as a single person and you think you are young, you are athletic, you are healthy, you don't have any comorbidities, I don't think you have to stress yourself with these things. But if you have a family, please, this is something that you have to actually look into. So this is what I had to share, and I believe it is very, very important that you get to know about the health insurance system. So if you think that you want to have a very detailed conversation about this, I have put a link down here to my digital platform where you can go schedule, and then we can have a conversation about this, and I'm going to explain it details for you. And thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. Bye-bye.